Thought I would do a video, review for the England game yesterday. Much better performance from England yesterday. Following, after that defeat against Greece last week, that was a very, very bad performance. And I particularly wasn't happy with that performance from England against Greece. I mean, it was a good win for Greece, and obviously, it was nice for them to get a win in what is obviously a very difficult time following the news that former Greece international George Baldock passed away last week at the age of 31. Um, I mean, obviously a big result for Greece in the week. Obviously, a much better performance from England last night against Finland. I mean, obviously, England, they are very, very good attacking wise. The attacking, when it comes to attacking football, they're very, very good. But when it comes to defensive football, they are still very, very shaky. That is my main concern with the England national team at the moment, is they are still very shaky when it comes to actually when it comes to the defensive side of things. My fear at the moment is that, as obviously we've not played, any of the big teams yet, like Spain or France or Portugal. My fear, and I'm talking about since the league Harsley's over, my fear is that England, considering the way they are at the moment, they would get absolutely trounced by one of the big teams. Like, we wouldn't be able to play, like, we wouldn't be able to push them all the way. We wouldn't be able to, give them a tough game. And that's what I want to see England being able to do, is give one of the big teams a tough game and push them all the way. I don't. This is what the way is the problem with under Gareth Southgate, is that England were always making it easy for the big teams to walk out with a win. They were letting the big teams walk all over them. A lot of the time, and it was sad to see that. We couldn't defend against the big teams, and attacking wise, been not bad. We are pretty solid. You know. Obviously, a great performance from Trent Alexander-Arnold yesterday. Great goal. I felt sorry for Trent because he was criminally underused by Gareth Southgate at the Euros. He was one of the players that should have had more of a featuring role for England at the Euros. I think he really did show that. And he really did prove that with the fact that he scored the winning penalty in the penalty shootout for England against Switzerland in quarter-finals. That was a big goal for him, and I think he proved that, why he should have been a more of a featuring role. Things are not going to get any better for England, I fear, anytime soon. Things are going to keep getting more and more difficult for them, more and more intense for them. We've got tougher games coming up. Obviously, we've got the World Cup qualifiers obviously starting next year. So that would be obviously a massive time for us, obviously, with the World Cup qualifiers. We'll have to be pretty good in those. And obviously we'll have a new manager by then as well. Obviously, a new permanent manager, because I can see. I mean, I honestly, I'm in two minds about Steve Harsley. I mean, I feel like it's a bit too early to really decide on whether Steve Harsley should or shouldn't be, the England manager full time. I think I would have to see how he would fare up against one of the big teams before I made my decision. If Steve Harsley actually did well, against a team like France or Spain or whatever, then I would say maybe England should get the job full time. But you look at who we played recently: Ireland, Finland. Even a crap manager, the happiest manager in the world, would be able to beat a team like Ireland and Finland. Finland, to be, fair to them, did have a few decent chances to score last night, and they put, had they scored some of the chances they had, it would have been a different game overall. It's sad seeing Finland play the way they play, like seeing England looking so shaky defensively, because we do look very confident up front going forward. Attacking wise, we do look very good. We do look we do look very solid. But defensively, we're still very, very shaky, and we saw that last night in the game between England and Finland. The England defence was still very, very shaky, and I think there is still a lot of improvement needed for defensively for England. I think. I feel like the England's defence is not where it could be, or it's not as good or as solid as it could be. As I said, attacking football wise, we are very good. We're very solid. We're very good at we're very good attacking wise. But we're just not that good defensively at the moment, and that is that is the major problem. As I said, if we came up against a big team like France, a Portugal or a Spain, we would be absolutely trounced because we are so shaky in defence. I remember when I watched the Euros final against Spain, we did not look confident at all. We looked really like the Spain players. When you looked at them, they looked very confident in that game, but we didn't look very confident at all. And we didn't really look that confident throughout most of the Euros. It was unbelievably shit. We were lucky to get through the semi-finals. We had that penalty that maybe we shouldn't have had, but it was one of those things. That VAR just happened to go our way that night. But it doesn't change. I feel like if people, I know that some people would say, oh, let's not get a foreign manager, but to be honest, whether it's an English manager or a foreign manager, I don't care. All I care about is having a manager that can get England to the level they need to be at, to get England winning major trophies. If they are capable of doing that, I don't care what their nationality is. Their nationality is not important. As long as they are capable of winning major trophies for England, like the Euros and the World Cup, not a problem. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done with England. We're not. I feel like when I look at England, it's just like England are not as good as we all know they can be. As we all know that England can be very good with the right manager. And that dream still goes on. And we hope that one day that dream of seeing England being able to win another trophy does become a reality. But it won't become a reality until we get the right manager in that is actually capable of getting England to where they need to be. And is capable of getting England to a point where they can actually compete against the big teams like France and Germany and France and Portugal and Spain. Because we're not at the level we need to be at to be able to compete against teams like that. England are not good enough at the moment. We would be, as I said, trounced by one of those three teams. Because we're just not good enough. Performance-wise, we need, to improve dramatically. We really do. It scares me to think about how bad things are with England at the moment defensively. That is a major problem for England, is the defending. It has to be said. England are not as good as they could be defensively. We know it's like, I don't like John Stones. I'm not a big fan of Harry Maguire. I can't remember the last time England had a solid defence. I'm thinking it was around the time they had John Terry and Rio Ferdinand in defence. I mean, that was a pretty solid defence, but you know, it wasn't a defence that was strong enough to help us win to win the World Cup or the Euros. Like, we would need to have a very, very solid, like a rock solid defence. That's what we need. Like, is a rock solid defence. I mean, it wasn't like yesterday's game wasn't a bad game. Like, we played okay. I love watching Trent on set pieces. I think he's very good on set pieces. I think a lot of people agree with me on that. And he's certainly shown that. The performance against Greece wasn't good enough. You know, England should be beating teams like Greece. Because Greece are not that difficult. You know, Greece are not, Greece are, you know, in no way, well, they're not as good as France or Portugal or Spain. You know, when was the last time that Greece actually qualified for a major tournament? You know, it's probably quite a while now since Greece actually qualified for a major tournament. You know, they didn't qualify for the World Cup in 2022. They didn't qualify for the Euros this year. They didn't qualify, I don't think they qualified for the Euros in 2021. I don't think they qualified for the World Cup in 2018. I can't remember if they played at Euro 2016. I've got a funny feeling the last time they qualified for the World for a major tournament might have been the 2014 World Cup. I could be wrong on that. It was either Euro 2012 or the 2014 World Cup. That was the last tournament that Greece qualified for, I think. I could be wrong on that, but I don't remember Greece having any involvement in a major tournament beyond 2016. But as I said, I could be wrong on that. But I don't think I'm wrong on that. Let me ask my Alexa that question. Alexa, when was the last time that Greece played at a national tournament?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Alexa, when was the last time that the Greece football team...
Good evening, Parry. Sorry, I don't know that.
Alexa, when was the last time that the Greece football team last reached a major tournament?
From onefootball.com. Greece have not qualified for a major tournament since the 2014 World Cup.
So it's the 2014 World Cup they last qualified for. I know I was right on either Euro 2016 or the World Cup 2014, on either Euro 2012 or World Cup 2014. So that shows how good Greece are, and the fact they've not qualified for a major tournament since flipping 2014, so 10 years. You know, it's been a decade since they last qualified. I mean, lose 2-1 against a team that hasn't qualified for a major tournament in a decade. Ridiculous. You know, Italy have beat Greece, France have beat Greece, Portugal have beat Greece, we can't. We flipping lost to Greece in a game that we probably should be winning. You know, it's just ridiculous of England. Like, you want to see them playing well. Like, I honestly don't know how long it's going to be before we see England competing and actually being able to compete. And look, you know, this is the thing, like, I honestly don't know how long it will be before we see England actually looking really, really strong against these big teams like Spain and France and Portugal. But the problem is, at the moment, when we go up against one of those teams, we look very, very weak. But I want to see England looking strong against those teams. But we hardly look strong against those teams. We look incredibly weak. You know, apparently when we go up against one of those teams. You know, I was actually fearful before the Euros final that Spain we're going to end up scoring about 4 or 5 goals. You know, I was kind of glad that it was only a 2-1 win for Spain and it wasn't anything worse than that. Like, because that would have made, like, the pain of the World Cup defeat a lot worse if we'd lost by more than, like, 2 goals. But, you know, we did well to only lose 2-1, but, you know, it's still, you know, horrible to think about the fact that we've lost in back-to-back Euros finals. Like, it's just unacceptable. You know, to be honest with you, I was over the moon when it was announced that Gareth Southgate had officially resigned as England boss. You know, the one thing that really got to me with him at the World Cup, or the Euros in the summer, was he was favouritising players over certain players that should have been starting. Like, Harry Kane should have been benched for the Euros final. Ollie Watkins had scored the goal that got England into the Euros final. And he got benched after that final. He got benched for the final and he should have been starting the game. Now, I think a lot of people agree with me that Ollie Watkins should have started the Euros final. Like, you know, him scoring that winning goal against the Netherlands should have automatically guaranteed him a place in the starting lineup. The fact that it didn't was shocking, you know. But that goes to show the level of favouritism that there was from Gareth Southgate. He was showing a massive level of favouritism. And it was, you know, at times it was very clear to see. But yeah, fantastic, you know, really good performance yesterday from England. I'm happy with the result, 3-1, I'll take that. You know, it's a win at the end of the day, a win's a win, and I'll take it. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you for another one very soon. Bye bye.